Now, we have our very first guests in the studio. These are people that we've looked forward to interviewing for the very longest time. Now, I will do them no justice if I don't read a bit of their profiles. First off, I have a guest who is founder and CEO of Pinky Promise, an organization that organizes and encourages abstinence in singleness and submission in marriage. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia, where she co-pastors the Gathering Oasis with her husband. She's also an internationally recognized author, a speaker, a TV host, a blogger, a vlogger, a dedicated vegan. She's a mother of 3 and a wife to her dear husband. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking about none other than Heather Lindsey. All right, and right beside her is the man himself, who is her support system. He is an American trailblazer, international speaker, pastor, and author. He is the founder and senior pastor of the Gathering Oasis Church, a non-denominational church, and he organizes an annual men's conference through his non-profit organization, the Man Cave Society, one that allows men from all walks of life come together to learn about manhood, fatherhood, leadership, mentorship, and how to live a purpose-filled life. He's a vlogger, a vegan, a father of 3, and the dear husband of Heather Lindsey, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Please make welcome Cornelius Lindsey. It is a delight to have you here.
I'm
Thank
so
you
excited
so much
about
for
being
joining
here.
us.
Yeah, I got tired reading that bio. We talk a lot. Okay.
I actually had to paraphrase it.
Yes, we had to. And we're actually cheering on behalf of hundreds of thousands of Nigerians who would like to be here and cheer you on. I'm sure tomorrow you'll see a glimpse of just how loved you are in Nigeria. You're most
Indeed,
welcome.
you are.
Praise God.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
for
having us.
Yes, thanks.
All right, so how's the journey been so far? This is your second time in Nigeria. How's it been for you?
This is like coming home, right?
Yeah, we love it here. The traffic is intense. I feel like it ramped up since the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just pray for the people that are just like in the bikes, and I'm like, are they gonna die today? Like, I just feel so bad, right?
The cars get really close, and we're like, I don't think we're gonna make it. We're
not
not
gonna
gonna make it. And somehow you make it through. It's
like grace.
amazing. Yes.
You make it through. That's the thing about Nigeria. And I let me just say that it's not usually as bad as this. For some reason, like you said, it's gone so bad in recent times. But, you know, don't be afraid. Come back again. It's
we're
not-
Oh,
back.
definitely.
We
We're
love
coming back.
Nigeria.
Yeah, we love it here.
Yeah, we'll be
So I'd
back.
like to say congratulations. It's no news that the last time you came to Nigeria, you had 2 children, and now we're
Yes.
expecting a third.
I know.
How does that make you feel?
Excited, shocked, wondering how we're gonna balance our life with a new baby. But you know what? Our kids just jump on. It's like their grace for our schedule, and we just bring them with us.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, talking about babies and sharing, in Nigeria, people are quite superstitious. And they say, no, don't share too much. We have people who are evil, who are flying around. And then we know that for both of you, part of your ministry as you relate to other people is that you share a lot about yourselves, about your family, about news. You almost make us feel like we're part of your family. Do you get sometimes worried that people, the evil forces out there will attack you? You know, how do you deal with that?
Or that they will use the information you share against you?
Right.
Oh no.
We actually, we actually have people who attempt to do that. But I think we're so encouraged because we know that the greater one truly lives with us.
Yeah.
And since we abide in him, we don't really concern ourselves with that.
Yeah, we don't.
The greatest spirit that we understand is the Holy Spirit. So we're not concerned about witchcraft or what people can say, what they can do. They try to say it, they try to do it, and we're like, we're going to live our life. We're going to share our life with other people because we want other people to know that a life like this is real.
Yeah.
And if we try to hide it, then I think we're doing God a disservice, and we're giving the enemy a foothold, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely culture too, as well. In America, as soon as you take the pregnancy test, I know people that share it on Instagram. You know what I mean? They will show it right away, and they don't care about the 12-week waiting period to make sure everything's okay with the baby. But here in Lagos and many other countries, they're very quiet. They'll give birth to the child. You won't even know they were pregnant. You know what I mean? So I think we should be led by the Holy Spirit and not walk in fear or worry about any of the spiritual attacks, because obviously we know that the greater one lives in us.
All right, so Heather, we look at you on Instagram and you give the perfect image of a superwoman. You do so many things. You're a writer, a blogger, a vlogger, a teacher, a TV host, and you're a wife and a mother. How do you find time to balance all of this, ensuring that your family doesn't suffer? Because some people are of the opinion that as a woman, you can't have it all. So we've always had this conversation on our show.
Yeah.
Can a woman have it all? You seem to have it all. How do you do it?
Absolutely, you can have it all. My thing is, who told you that you couldn't? You know what I mean? And what made you believe that lie? Now, I didn't set out to, oh, I'm going to have it all. I set out to be obedient to whatever God wanted me to do. And he just began to give me instructions. And along the way, in the instructions was included meeting my husband and then having children and the ministry and all these different things. God truly has given me the desires of my heart. I want to be a mother. Now, the thing is this, I want to be a wife. The thing is this, I make sure that my family is my first ministry. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to travel all over the world. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I'm going to leave my family at the altar of all this. No, like our kids usually come with us everywhere we go. They're not with us on this trip, but they usually come with us everywhere we go. We're very intentional. We homeschool our children so they can come on the road with us. We've made tons of sacrifices to make sure that our family unit is together. So I think prioritizing is key and understanding that your family's your first ministry.
Wonderful.
Brilliant.
Now, Cornelius, this is for you. You're the president and founder of Man Cave. And I remember that during your relationship, you know, Heather and you yourself were quite vocal about it, about how you waited to have your first kiss on the day you got married. Now, for women in this part of the world, it's easy for you to see a woman who would agree to be, to abstain from sex before marriage. But for men, it's like, are you joking? That's impossible.
Right.
So tell us, how did you do it? Is it possible? And what's the importance of abstaining?
The crazy thing is, in America, you get the same thing. Men are kind of
Same
like,
thing.
nah, man, there is no way that you're, I mean, number one, that you're going to abstain from sex, but number two, that you won't kiss her until you get married. I have to say this. I didn't set out to do that. I didn't know that this was going to be something I was going to do. We went on our first date in Manhattan, and after we were finished with the date and she was prepared to go home, I felt like Holy Spirit compel and really ask this question: how are you going to end this? And my response was, I'm going to give her a kiss, send her home, and that's it. And I heard this voice. I heard the voice of God say to me, but she doesn't belong to you. And it was immediate. It was immediate that I felt like, you know what? She doesn't belong to me. This is still your daughter. You know, God, she still belongs to you. I have nothing to lay claim to yet. We're just in a relationship. So I took that as this needs to be serious maturity for me. And it began a really emotional maturity journey for me, because I was one of those type of men where I didn't like to communicate, I didn't like to talk. So immediately, instead of having to converse, you know, women always saying, I don't know what he's thinking. Well, I was the kind of man where instead of conversing and instead of having intellectual conversation, I would go straight into physicality. Well, let's just jump into this, and let's jump into kissing. Let's jump into this so that I don't have to talk. Without kissing, it forced me to develop emotionally. So now I have to talk about what's in my heart. I got to talk about how I feel. And then we had to set up several boundaries. And those boundaries were important to understanding that these are things that we cannot do, because if we cross these boundaries, then things are going to happen we don't want to. But ultimately, and I have to say this, well, after we got married, my wife looked at me on our honeymoon and she said to me, she said, it was very difficult for me to respect men. She said, and you're the first man that I truly had an opportunity to respect. And I'm like, well, why? She said, because you were the first man who actually honored his word. And for a man, respect is big. But for men, we have to understand that we must earn it. And I believe that was something that God wanted me to do for my wife now, to say, you know what, this is the respect that I desire, and here's how I choose to earn that respect that I want from you. And recognizing she's beautiful, she's a treasure, she's worth the wait, she's worth it all. And then on our wedding day, we had an opportunity to share something that I believe was extra special.
Men need respect. It's big to men, and they need to earn it. Now, this was something that it involved both parties, but we know that women can be very hormonal, emotional at different times of the month. How were you able to stay away when he tells you, no, we can't do this, we can't get physical in any way?
It was hard for me, because for me, dating was like, oh, we cuddle, we kiss, we push the boundaries, we don't go all the way, or maybe we do sometimes, just depending on how we feel. So to have a man that actually set the boundaries was amazing. And I'd never been in a relationship where I felt so close to Jesus, which was mind-blowing to me, because it reminded me of Ephesians 5, where husbands are to wash their wives with the water of the word. And we weren't married yet, but I felt like he was pushing me closer to Jesus every step of the way. He challenged me in a lot of different areas, and even the way that I dress. And I used to wear these V-neck, dresses. And he told me, he's like, you can't wear that dress. And I'm like, well, I don't have a whole lot. What do you mean? And he's just like, you can't wear that because it's kind of seductive and it sends the wrong message. And if we're setting up boundaries, then I need you to also look at what you're wearing. So he really convicted me in that area, because before I was just like real free about even the way I dressed. And then he started to really challenge me in other areas. And it was amazing. Was it hard? Yes. I had moments where I would call him and I would say, well, I'm having a rough day. And I lived in New York at the time, but we saw each other almost every week. I was like, I'm just going to fly to Atlanta. I just need to get away. And I remember him telling me, well, we have a planned trip in about a month. And I was like, I know, but I'm coming down this weekend. I'm having a rough week. Let me just come, chill out. Don't be all deep and emotional about this, okay? Don't get religious on me. And he told me, well, I'm not gonna be a part of being your void filler. And he said, I'm not gonna let you make an emotional decision. He's like, you need to start facing things instead of running from them. Because I used to run from tests. If I had a rough day, I would just go to the mall and just go crazy and go shopping and emotionally spend, or I would just book a trip and go somewhere. And so what I had to do is I actually had to face it. And so I got mad at him and he hung up on me. And I was like, what? You gonna hang up on me? Do you know who I am? You're not gonna hang up on me, because you know how we do, ladies. We go there. But he hung up on me, but it forced me to go spend that time with God instead of trying to book a flight. And then God really showed me myself. And he said, you're emotional, you're led by your feelings, and you're trying to make him your God, and I will not let that happen. So I needed that too.
Super. Now, you're in Nigeria. Many people around the world would want to have you in their country. Why are you here? What brings you to our beautiful and rich country?
Yeah. It was in 2017. I was sitting in my office, and there were...
It was 2016.
It was 16,
yeah.
2016. I was sitting in my office, and I was sitting there and just, thinking, and felt God press upon my heart certain countries. And he said, I want you to go to, he gave us South Africa. He said, I want you to go back to United Kingdom. Yeah. He said, I want you to go to Kenya. And he said, I want you to go to Nigeria. And I was like, Nigeria. And I remember I called Heather in my office and I said, babe, so next year we're gonna go to Nigeria.
You showed me this
Kenya.
list. And I'm
I did. And Heather's like, no, Well, how are we gonna go? How are we gonna pay for this? What are we gonna do about this? Well, who do we know this there? And
We
I'm like,
don't know
you know
anybody
what?
here. Not
God
one
is
person.
telling us this. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And we're just those crazy faith people. We just
Yeah.
believe it. So to answer your question, why are we here? I believe that it's been God ordained.
Yeah.
We felt the love. We feel it every time that plane lands.
Yeah.
Here in Nigeria, we feel
Totally.
like this is home. This
Yeah.
is home, and we love coming back. We love the people. We love the culture. We love the environment. So this is
the vegan food. I like
Oh,
vegan
yes.
food. I'm proud.
Yes, vegan. I'm sure that's a little bit of a challenge because we have a lot of spicy, oily food.
I had some of the spice this morning.
Oh, really? How was it?
Yeah, man. Woo!
That was the green pepper. He's like, that ain't a green pepper.
That wasn't the green pepper. I had like a little tear that kind of fell down.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so now people who want to see you, we know that you have the Man Cave sessions on YouTube, and you have the Pinky Promise conference every month. So people who want to see you live and be a part of what you're in Nigeria for can follow you on social media and be at Guiding Lights this weekend.
Yes.
All right, so follow Ignite GLA if you want to find out more information for why Heather and Cornelius are here for the manifestation. Guiding Light Assembly has all the details, so follow Ignite GLA. And you can follow them personally at Heather L. Love and at This Is Cornelius. All right, so final words before we let you go for young people who are in a place where they're struggling. You preach a lot of abstinence before marriage. What are your final words for people who are struggling right now?
Well, the thing that I've learned is the struggle is worth the wait, because it's not going to go away when you get married. Yeah. And it's like sometimes in our life we think that, oh, if I get married, it's going to cure my singleness and I'm all of a sudden going to be happy. No, contentment is a mindset. So if you're miserable before I do, you're going to be miserable afterward. Yeah.
Final words. If you're miserable before you say I do, you'll definitely be miserable after that. So find a way to feel yourself before you get married, and don't hope that marriage will feel you, because it won't. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
for having us.
Not near enough, but thank you.
Yeah, not nearly enough.